We had not seen ever before Pakistan Zindabad slogans heard in Vidhan Sauda. The kind of state patronage that drug syndicates are getting in Tamil Nadu. It is eating into the very vitals of the youth of the state. This is what D.K. Shivkumar has said in one of the interviews, that their objective is to either confuse people or to simply plain lie to people. Most young people of my generation, the stark political memory that they have is of the anti-corruption movement that we witnessed under Anna Hazare's leadership. The idea was we wanted, as young people, a leader who presented a contrasting alternative to the country at that time. Because we were fed up with the corruption, double-digit inflation. So whatever could go wrong was going wrong. And Modi was the alternative idea. I'm the youngest BJP MP from, in the 17th Lok Sabha. It is definitely a big honor, big responsibility. Sometimes, I have woken up in the night, unable to, process the kind of trust, the faith, the burden that sometimes I feel I'm carrying. Lives of political leaders is actually incredibly hard. People who see it from outside just see the glamour, etc., but they don't know the amount of hard work, how much it demands from you. When I faced the first elections in Bengaluru South, Annamalai was the DCP of Bengaluru South.
Oh.
And Annamalai before that was the SP of Chikmagalur, which is my native place. Okay. So our, friendship, our acquaintance, our relationship goes back from that time.
Well, what happened in that aircraft when you were with him? Yeah. Who did you try to open it? Did he try to open it, or did he try to stop you? What happened?
In fact, it's one of the most hilarious, incidences. It's become a troll material for the Congress from that time.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smitha Prakash. This episode is being filmed in Bengaluru, Karnataka, which goes to polls in two phases, on April 26th and May 7th. My guest today is Tejasvi Surya, a fiery orator of the BJP who's fighting his second Lok Sabha election. In 2019, he won from Bangalore or Bengaluru South. Tejasvi seems pretty confident of winning, riding on what he has openly said is a Modi wave. In fact, he has said that Narendra Modi is the de facto candidate in all 543 seats in India. I met with him late night after Tejasvi had just finished with his campaigning and Narendra Modi had finished a road show in neighbouring Bangalore. Welcome to the podcast, Tejasvi Surya. May I call you by your first name?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. I understand that your campaign schedule is very punishing, but I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. Really looking forward to the chat. So final couple of days before campaigning, and this evening you would have also seen Prime Minister in Mysuru and then in Mangaluru. It was like huge crowds. One was an NDA rally and the other one was a BJP rally. What was your feedback that you got?
First of all, Madam, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It's a great opportunity to speak to such a large number of people who follow this podcast. I have been myself a regular listener of the podcast. On my phone you will find at least 10-12 podcasts downloaded. I keep listening to them when I travel. So thank you for doing what you do.
I hope you've heard the Annamalai ones.
I just heard yesterday.
Two of them were with Annamalai.
Yes. I was listening to the latest one. I was listening to it yesterday.
Okay.
So, I mean,
thank you.
Not just politics, the spectrum of issues that you cover is very wide. And for somebody who is with a curious mind, there's so much to learn. And the in-depth conversation allows so much of original insights. So thank you so much and for what you do through the podcast, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak here. So the Prime Minister's roadshow in Mangaluru today and his rally in Mysuru both have had massive response. I mean, I was just looking at the pictures from Bengaluru, speaking to a few Karyakartas there. They're saying that this is the biggest roadshow or a congregation of people that they have ever seen in Bengaluru. And like you know, because you come from coast of Karnataka, so you know that traditionally that area is a very strong BJP supporting area. And traditionally we have had leaders come there attracting massive crowds. But what we have seen today was altogether a different level. Even the energy of the crowd in Mysuru was unbelievable. And the fact that Deve Gowda was with the Prime Minister on the stage, and when Deve Gowda ji takes Prime Minister's hand, and the kind of uproar that went in the the crowd, the audience, it's amazing. It's an indication of the mood of Karnataka as we are nearing the polls. The phenomenon of Narendra Modi that baffles all of us is how the popularity of the Prime Minister keeps increasing every passing day. If you look at political leaders all over the world, the general tendency is that after one term or after two terms, there is some kind of a fatigue that sets in the voter.
Correct.
And especially in today's generation with over information overload, social media always making instant gratification a thing of today's generation, where people want something new, people want something novel every single day. The fact that the Prime Minister has not only managed to capture the attention of people for 10 years, but has been only increasing his fan base, his attention, his love and affection, is a case study for psychologists, psephologists, sociologists. I mean, whatever domain you want, it's an unbelievable phenomena.
Two questions come to my mind. One was on, you spoke about social media. You worked on, with the social media team of the BJP earlier, before you got into electoral politics. So I want to know about that phase in your life, when you worked. How was it? How were you, working on the messaging? How much of it was Narendra Modi at that stage? 2018, was it that you were there? So that, one was that. And the second one, which I want to ask is about the phenomenon in 2024, because you have said, and if I may quote, you said that de facto Narendra Modi is fighting from 543 seats across the country. So between when you were working in the social media team then, what was your perception of how to project Narendra Modi as PM candidate, to today when you say that he is the one candidate in all the seats? So give me a little bit of your view on this.
Madam, most young people of my generation, the stark political memory that they have is of the anti-corruption movement that in 2013, late 2012, that we witnessed under Anna Hazare's leadership. So the India Against Corruption movement. So it was then that the very first initial impressions of Narendra Modi as the alternative, as an idea whose time has come, as a leader, as a phenomena that India deserves. That was something that captured our attention for the very first time. Of course, we knew who the Chief Minister of Gujarat was. His popularity was already pan-India. But at a national scale, he was a contrast to everything that was something that the young of India did not accept or did not like about. So the 2012-2013 days, when every day you would hear of a big scandal, a corruption, making headlines on newspapers, I myself was part of the Anna Hazare movement, the India Against Corruption protests here in Freedom Park in Bangalore. And we did not, of course, know at that time that Arvind Kejriwal would later hijack the whole, movement and make a political party out of it. But be that as it may, Narendra Modi came as a hope, as a change, as somebody who presented an alternative worldview about how India could be governed. So I think that freshness, that change in perspective, that alternative vision that he presented is what has been the central focus of our communication when I was working on the communication in 2018. So 2018 was when we were trying to get to power in Karnataka. It was Siddaramaya's government here in Karnataka as well, and then
that's Congress. Just
Congress government.
Just for expat audiences
Yes.
who may not know the thing.
Yes.
So yeah.
So we were, a bunch of us, friends. We got together. We had a very small team, 3 to 4 people. We did not have an elaborate, social media war room or setup of that kind.
So you were still not part of the BJP then,
No,
or
of course I was.
You were.
I was
Okay.
a part of the BJP.
Okay.
I was in the Yuva Morcha.
Okay.
But at that time, party gave me the responsibility to also monitor social media and overall communications of the party.
But you weren't a tech person. You were a lawyer studying law.
But
you were in.
But I was doing multiple roles for the party.
Okay.
After I passed out of college in 2012, 2013, for almost an entire year, I went around all of Karnataka making speeches for PM Modi. So I was part of an organization called Namo Brigade. So all over the state, we would put up banners, call young people, put a mic, and start making speeches. So this was like a ragtag team, which we had no organization, structure, funds, nothing. So the banner was also simple: Namo Brigade, Prime Minister's photo, mission, Narendra Modi for PM. This was all that we were doing. So I think for almost an entire year, I went all around Karnataka. Almost every taluk I visited at least twice for almost 1 year. Around that time, I was also interning with Swarajya. So I was, dabbling some writing and doing some editing for Swarajya, etc. So I had some brief idea on narrative and content creation, etc. That came in handy when party asked me to do social media work. So it was only after this one full year, it was almost like a gap year. It was after this 1 year that I went and started my law practice. And it was then I went and joined the party officially. Okay. So and for 3-4 years, I was doing a lot of things in the party. I was, in court, I was fighting cases for the party. When we were in opposition here in Karnataka and the Congress was in power, Siddaramaya was the chief minister. Every day, left, right and center, cases were filed against BJP Karyakartas everywhere. All over the state, whether it was our Mafazil courts, whether it was our civil courts, whether it is, high courts. So, my full-time occupation was to fight cases for our Karyakartas everywhere. So, this was something that I was doing. And then, alongside that, I would also go on Kannada TV news channels primarily and some English news channels at that time as an unofficial spokesperson of the party. I would represent the party on all of these news channels. And it was in fact that time when so many Kannada news channels were just mushrooming every day.
Correct, yes.
So I would be on morning till evening, I would be in court. And at least if I had 10 briefs that day, 4 of them would be some party briefs.
This is before 2019 election.
Yeah, this is 2013, 14, 15, all those years.
So this Namo Brigade, you guys are responsible for this whole creation of a movement for Modi, so much so that today people say that we have moved from India is Indira and Indira is India to Modi is Bharat, Bharat is Modi. Yes?
No, not at all.
No?
Absolutely not. The idea was, going back to what I said, the idea was we wanted, as young people, a leader who presented a contrasting alternative to the country at that time. Because we were fed up with the corruption. There were bomb blasts happening everywhere. people's physical security was not safe. If you remember the state of our country's economy then, it was slow. The, policy paralysis, this was a term that we would read in newspapers, regularly. Double-digit inflation. So whatever could go wrong was going wrong. And Modi was the alternative idea. He was the contrast to the, the dark side of things. So Namo Brigade was actually a platform to offer hope to people, and that hope happened to be Narendra Modi. So, while doing all of this as, spokesperson for party, then as doing some, lawyer, advocate work for the party, 2018 elections, the party asked me to also take care of the party's social media and communication. It was then that we put together a small team, 2-3 people team, and we started working on communications in Karnataka. So, it was a fun period. Most of the tweets that we were drafting was all on the go.
And it was only on social media. If you recall, at that time, Modi did not have an into traditional media, into legacy media. Legacy media had blocked Modi. So it was only you guys. Some people don't even remember that, because today Godi media, everybody talks about. There was a time when traditional media did not run Modi. It was you people, the young guns, young Turks, whatever people want to call. You guys started with social media and then built inroads into traditional media.
Well, I would say I say this many times, if you reflect about Modi the phenomena, Modi ji is not just creating New India, but Modi ji is also a product of New India. So, if it was not for young Indians, at that point in time, accepting and coming to terms with, or rather wanting, an idea like Narendra Modi, perhaps there would not been the currency that, we saw in 2013 and 14.
Which is strange,
so the very first acceptance...
That you guys were in your 20s. Yeah. He's already in his 60s by then. But you find hope, as in your 20s, all of you, find hope in a man in his 60s. And you find him a youth icon, whereas the youth icon of Rahul Gandhi was unacceptable to all of you.
Well, look at even today.
Even today, the gaming kids...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why?
Today, I had a... interaction with first time voters in our constituency today. Okay, and they're all 18 and 19. That's the first time voters age today that we interacted with. Almost every single person there was speaking about Prime Minister's interaction with the gamers.
Yeah, why?
And because he's so updated.
Okay.
One, he uses vocabulary that is so in tune with what is used by today's gen, whether it's
PUBG earlier,
exactly.
And now new,
not just PUBG. If you look at the Prime Minister's interaction with the content creators, it
Correct.
was so spontaneous. It was like he knew almost every single content creator's channel, the content, whatever they were creating.
Ayush Shraddha said the first thing he said to her was Ayo.
Every single content creator, it looked as though the PM personally knew everybody.
Yeah.
And has been like a regular content consumer of all of their channels. That's how update. It's amazing how he does it. Modi is Modi for that reason. But not just that. The effort that goes into, being updated. It's so necessary for a professional, especially a politician, because politicians become stale very easily. And the reason why the Modi phenomena is so new, so novel, is because of this constant effort to stay updated. So he says, vibe kaisa hai? Right? When he said, okay. And then he uses the word like FOMO, noob. Okay, so today the boys were saying, how is it that the Prime Minister speaks our lingo? Right? And also the second reason is, there are certain values that are universal and timeless. For example, the Prime Minister's integrity. Right? Young people, whether it's 10 years before or 10 years later, will always value integrity. So integrity as a value has a resonance with youth. hard work as a value has a resonance with youth. Working your way up through your merit, earning your place is a value, and that resonates with young people. So I think it's a combination of both these things. Prime Minister's effort to stay updated, as well as his, he embodies these values that are timeless and that so clearly resonate with the young of India.
So you were fighting your second election. How much of it is you as a candidate? How much of it is BJP? And how much of it is Modi when you go to your constituents?
I think it's a mix of all the three, but close to 75 to 80% is the Prime Minister's work, the Prime Minister's personality, the Prime Minister's leadership. Of course, the BJP as an organization, the cadre strength, and then as candidates what we bring to the table and what we offer. Especially when you are going as a incumbent MP, you also need to go to people telling what you have done in the last 5 years. So I think it's a mix of all the three. But essentially, like I said, to an interview a couple of days ago to I think ANI or Times of India, Prime Minister is de facto the candidate in almost all seats. Because this is a national election. The objective of this election is to choose and elect the country's leader for the next 5 years. To choose the country's Prime Minister for the next 5 years. So with that objective, every voter is going out to vote, keeping in mind that this vote is going to result in the country's Prime Minister getting elected. So I think in that sense, the overwhelming factor in this election will be the Prime Minister's role. Having said that, candidates, especially incumbent MPs, I personally believe, must go to people telling how we have contributed to our constituencies, because the Prime Minister always urges us to take the yojanas, the policies, the schemes of the government to the people. Just to give you a couple of examples. In the last 5 years, the biggest challenge that the city faced, that all of us faced as a country, was the COVID pandemic.
City means Bangalore, you mean?
Bangalore.
Okay.
And the whole country also. And because I represent here, I'm speaking for Bangalore. During the COVID pandemic, my office ran India's largest oxygen concentrator bank run by an MP office. So we had 1,200, 1,300 plus oxygen concentrators that we had put together. In the middle of the night, to thousands of cases, we took oxygen cylinders, concentrators at their doorsteps and saved lives. In less than 30 days, we revamped more than 4 hospitals, added more than 350 ICU beds and helped save lives, augment the infrastructure at that time. There was a time when there were 40,000 cases, 50,000 cases that were being reported every day. At that time, people of the city were not able to transparently book a bed in the hospitals in the city. There were black marketing of bed that was going on. So we exposed the whole scandal, the whole black marketing, that was going on. Got 18 people arrested. Within 36 hours, with the help of software engineers in the city, we built a software that was transparent and allocated beds. From 0 beds available to 4,300 plus beds made available in just 36 hours. It literally saved people's lives. So even today when I am outside meeting people, people recollect these things. And as an MP, your role is to also coordinate with the central government and make sure that your state gets the support that the center government or the state government gives you. So when there was this whole allocation of remdesivir, at that time, these are terms now, we have social distancing, remdesivir, we have forgotten all of these things.
Absolutely.
But, the allocation of remdesivir to states was a very big issue.
And there was black marketing in that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that time, talking to the finance minister, talking to the pharmaceuticals minister, making sure that Karnataka gets its fair share of, allocation of drugs. all of these things were done on a record footing. Building, PSA, oxygen PSA plants overnight. So people witness these things. So even today when we go campaigning, people remember that Modi ji gave Bengaluru South 27 lakh vaccines. They also recollect that, okay, you exposed the black marketing of the beds. You built ICU beds. You helped us get a bed. So I think all of these things, what you do to the constituency, because you are at the end of the day an ambassador of Prime Minister Modi in the constituency.
But Tejasvi, the opposition, the chief minister, the deputy chief minister, they keep saying that the state doesn't get its share of funds. DK Shivkumar was on the podcast and saying stepmotherly treatment that Karnataka gets from the centre. The other chief ministers of the South Indian states say the same thing. In fact, some of them don't even see the South as part of the India entity. They have, from your own state, people have said that we don't feel part of the country because we are given such a, we are not seen as part of the country. We don't get our share of allocation. What do you have to say to that?
It's very unfortunate that over the last few years, the Congress in Karnataka has based its entire narrative, by their own admission, either to confuse people. This is what DK Shivkumar has said in one of the interviews, that their objective is to either confuse people or to simply plain lie to people. In one of the interviews he says this. Okay. Now let me put before you a few facts. 2004 to 2014, Karnataka under the Congress government got around 80,000 odd crores as the tax devolution. In the last 10 years between 2014 and 2024, we have got somewhere around 2,58,000 crores. That is a 258% jump in the quantum of funds, taxes, the devolution of funds that Karnataka has received in the last 10 years. 258% increase. Where is 80,000 crores and where is 2,52,000, 58,000 crores? So this is blatant lying. And even with respect to the central grants, there is a 248% increase between what we got during the UPA and what we have now got under the NDA. Take the railway budget for that matter. For the whole of 5 years under the UPA, from 2000, up to 2014, 2009 to 2014, we got somewhere around 800 crores. And just last year, just for railways, Karnataka has got somewhere around 7,500 crores. Now, when this is the reality, and by their own admission they say that we either are going to lie or we are going to confuse, I'm actually shocked that a serious political party that is in government adopts this strategy to lie, to confuse, to blatantly misguide people as their primary narrative to communicate to people.
What about this thing that there is a drought in the state and they are not getting drought relief, that funds are not being allocated, and that whatever they had promised the people of the state when they came to power last year after the state assembly elections, they're not able to deliver, they can't give it because the centre is not releasing funds for drought relief.
Okay, now there are two issues. What they had promised to give, that is their Congress guarantees, is different from the drought relief.
Yeah.
Now let me first address the drought relief. Under the 15th Finance Commission, or any finance commission for that matter, every state is allocated a certain amount of money for for disaster relief. That comes through NDRF and SDRF grants. So the Karnataka has already got 650 odd crores under the 15th Finance Commission as NDRF and SDRF funds that the state is free to use for drought relief. Till today there is no clarity, there is no communication on what the state government has done insofar as spending the 650 crores that is already lying with the state government as part of the SDRF, NDRF allocations. Now, the state government has submitted to the union government their drought damage estimates to the tune of some 17,000 odd crores. Their grouse is that the Modi government has not released the 17,000 crores that they have asked for. Now there is a process that is followed in all of such cases. The union government, there's a committee that is made. The committee goes through the estimates submitted, then conducts a field survey and finds out whether indeed the damages are to the tune that is being claimed. And then the central government makes a particular allocation. Now between 2004 and 2014, when Congress was in government, UPA was in power in the center, and Congress was also in power in the state, there have been many instances of droughts. And all of those times they have made requisitions to the union government for drought relief, similar to what they have made now. On an average, all of the 10 years between 2004 and 2014, the union government has always released on an average 8% of the total that they had asked for.
Okay.
Suppose Karnataka has asked for 100 rupees as an estimate. Congress in the union government has always given them 8%.
How much have you given?
Under Modi, the average to all states has been between 38% to 41%. Now you should ask DK Shivakumar whether 8% is more or 38%, 41% is more. I can take you through specific numbers as well. Look at this. In 2004-2005, INC in the state, INC in the center.
Double engine
INC. They had requested 1147 crores, 1147 crores. 83 crores was released. That is 7%. In 2006-2007, 1262 crores, 1262 crores was requested. 78 crores was sanctioned. This is 6%. Then BJP was in state and UPA was at the center. 2043 crore was asked. 83 crores was given. This is 4%. In 2009 and 2010, 300 crores was asked. 116 crores was released. That is 29%. You take out the 29% and see the other ones. It is 7%, 6% and 4%. This is the generosity of the Congress, the UPA, to Karnataka when they were at the center and they also had a Congress double engine.
Hashtag sarcasm, please say that.
And now
in case people don't get it, yeah.
The Congresses don't get it specifically. Now, come to 2014 to now. INC was in power in the state. Siddaramaiah was again the chief minister. There was drought. Modi ji was in the center as the prime minister. They requested 779 crores. 210 crores was released. 25%. 2005 again. 5,200 crores was requested. 2,200 crores was released. 43%. 2016, 8,000 crores was requested. 2,577 crores was released. 32%. 2018, again INC. 4,498 crores was sought and 1,990 crores was released. That is 44%. These are the numbers. Also, looking at this, there's a very interesting pattern.
Is this on a website or something like that where first-time voters?
Yes, everybody can access. This is PIB data.
Okay.
This is all available online. This is public data that is available. It's a Google search away. 2004 to 2014, INC in power, drought relief is requested. Only 2 times when BJP is in power, there is a drought that have requested.
There must be a flood
look
then.
Look at this. No assistance.
Knowing Karnataka.
You can either say it is flood. You can say it's either a flood or you can say all our dams and lakes were full.
Huh.
Look at this. Between 2019 and 2023.
We built the dams and we did water management.
I mean, look at this. Between 2014 and 24, Congress was in power from 2014 to 2019. With the exception of 1 year, every year has been a drought year and they have requested for drought relief. 2019 to 2023, we were in power. All the 4 years, no assistance is sought.
Okay, what is the solution to this?
I just figured this out now.
I'm just coming to the drought bit, that every year between, I don't know how many, 100 years that the fight has been going on between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka over the Kaveri river waters. There is a tribunal, there is a way, a manner in or a mechanism in place to sort this out. But in spite of that, that doesn't happen. There's India Alliance Partners, which is the Congress in Karnataka and the DMK in Tamil Nadu. And in spite of the two chief ministers being part of an alliance, they've still not come to a solution. Don't tell me that the BJP needs to come and that's how everything will get sorted out. What is a solution? Just explain to our viewers and listeners.
Madam, the Kaveri issue is a very serious and a sensitive issue for the two states. Unfortunately, over the last few decades, certain political parties and most politicians on either sides have also used it to whip up passions on both states, and as a result, many a times the political maturity needed to solve this issue has generally been missing. Over the last, almost a century, because this is such a long, standing issue. There have been so many agreements made, some honored, some not honored. Then some agreements during the British era, some that were revisited later after independence. Then the Supreme Court order. Then Prime Minister Modi comes to power. Then makes institutes the tribunal, then again revisits the Supreme Court order, and an additional allocation to Karnataka is made, because in the original order, it was, the Supreme Court also felt that the Karnataka share was not legitimately given. So now there are 2-3 interests here. Bengaluru as a city primarily depends on drinking water from the Kaveri. And then there is the competing rights in Tamil Nadu, that is primarily agricultural water.
Delta.
The Kaveri basin, where they grow paddy and the crore crops and all of that. So sometimes it is the competing rights of drinking water versus water for agricultural purpose. Then there is this whole issue of distress sharing. When the rains are in abundance, there is no issue. The issue comes up only in the drought years, because there is no clearly defined distress formula till today. And it is also difficult to clearly define a distress formula, because it's an ecological issue. So you cannot say that, in black and white, that this is how it must be. Because, some years the rainfall may be less, some years the rainfall may be low. But more or less, there is now some clarity in terms of an administrative mechanism.
But unless the political leadership don't come on the same page, it's not going to get resolved. Is that it?
One, I would agree that is one part of the solution. The other part of the solution is the Kaveri basin in Karnataka, where we also receive a lot of rainfall, whether it is in the Malnad, whether it is in Chikmagalur, whether it is in Kodagu, all of these areas. And also the whole cropping pattern in Mandya and Tamil Nadu. Because we are mostly growing paddy and sugarcane, which are both heavy water consuming crops. Yeah. And Bengaluru is growing, right? And we are also, seeing a water crisis, unprecedented water crisis in Bengaluru today. It's again primarily because the water that we get from Kaveri is pretty much at the same levels, while the demand of the borewells has increased. The load on the borewells have increased. So keeping this in mind, an ecological solution is what is needed than a political solution. So we need to, with great political maturity, try to convince our farmers on both sides, in Tamil Nadu as well as Karnataka, to perhaps review our cropping patterns and move towards more water efficient crops. One. But this again becomes a very political issue.
Yeah, you try
Right?
telling in Mandya that
Correct.
don't have sugar cane.
No, so this again becomes a very difficult political issue, is why I'm saying that this needs great political maturity on both sides of the state. It needs statesmanship. Otherwise, it's very easy to, whip up parochial sentiments and say, I'm going to burn Tamil Nadu buses in Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu people will say that we are going to, boycott Karnataka products from Tamil Nadu. It's very easy to do this.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at the problem, it is not a political problem. It is an ecological problem that happens because of distressed rain. And we have been seeing that over the last few years, because of deforestation in the Kaveri basin, especially in districts like Chikmagalur and Madikeri, because you also know the plantation pattern there, from Arabica, people have largely moved to Robusta coffee and cleared all the large trees which were actually bringing a lot of rainfall. And therefore we are also seeing a decrease in rainfall in certain years. Then we are also seeing in Tamil Nadu that the area under cultivation has also been increased. What is given to what is given to the Supreme Court and mandated as to this must be the area. The area has also been increased. The cultivation area has also been increased.
I believe like literally 20% of paddy cultivation doesn't really happen now because there's no water. So without water, how do you do paddy?
Well, there are multiple arguments, right? But the point is, if you are going to go into all of these things without the statesmanship required, without the political maturity required to bring everybody on the same page, it is very easy to spark a fire.
I get that.
So I would feel that we need to focus our energies to arrive at an ecological solution so that there is abundance of rain. When there is abundance of rain, there is actually no problem.
That would be the ideal solution, to have enough rain and to have enough reservoirs to store rainwater.
No, but also even speaking like a political solution,
even if you have,
why is it that Siddaramaiah cannot pick up the phone, talk to Stalin and arrive at a political solution, whether it is Mekedatu, whether it is some other solution? Why is that not possible? Stalin came here to Bengaluru a few months ago to discuss the India Alliance political pact, people asked them whether they discussed Mekedatu, because Congress had taken a Mekedatu Padayatra here, but that never featured in the conversation. So it is either an eyewash, nor they have any conviction towards this issue, and this is simply being used to create a parochial sentiment that we are fighting for Karnataka, you are fighting for Tamil Nadu, and just to whip up regional sentiments.
And I'm quoting you in this, you said this is the cost of Karnataka government pleasing its ally DMK. So you're actually saying that there's some devious reason that the problem in Bengaluru, that it is now they have to rely on tankers because more water got released. Do you think there's or is it a conspiracy theory?
There's no conspiracy theory at all. 8-10 months ago, when the whole controversy around, when the issue of Kaveri water was being discussed by the tribunal, it is the duty of the state of Karnataka to
argue its case
effectively and present its case in a manner that justice is made to the people of Karnataka. That's the primary mandate of the state. Day after day, for almost 7 consecutive occasions, Karnataka faced adverse orders. And one such adverse order was welcomed by Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar. Now you tell me, if the state that you are the chief minister of, you are the deputy chief minister of, suffers an adverse order, and you know that this is going to be a rainfall deficit year, and Bengaluru depends every drop for drinking water from Kaveri, you know that in a few months from now, when the monsoon, it's going to be delayed, when the summer is going to hit, Bengaluru is going to suffer from drinking water want of drinking water, you welcome an adverse order.
Why would he do that when he
I
knows
don't know,
that
you should ask him.
Because his brother is standing for election from this same city. So his brother would get pulled up, right? That your brother is celebrating that water is not coming to the city.
I mean, it baffles me. But
That-
you go on record, it is available.
You also said, of the DMK, you said that it's not a political party; it's more of a criminal syndicate. What's your khunnas with the DMK?
It's nothing personal. But if you look at the kind of politics that the DMK has been practicing, I'm sure, in your podcasts, Annamalai has elaborated more on this. But the DMK represents everything that is negative, everything that is wrong about this country's political system.
Is it spilling over into Karnataka?
It clearly looks like the Congress party in Karnataka is getting inspired by certain SOPs that the DMK follows in Tamil Nadu.
For example, the Sanatan?
One is Sanatan. Second is the single window corruption system that is in existence in Tamil Nadu, which has now been implemented in Karnataka. You go around and ask any builder in Bengaluru. They say that ever since the state government, the Congress government came into power in Karnataka, they have set up a single window clearance system where per square feet of developed land, you have to pay 70 to 75 rupees to the concerned people, and only upon that payment, their plan sanctions are given.
That was a charge made against your chief minister, BJP's chief minister at one point of time.
Well,
corruption, right?
Well, not a single iota of evidence was presented by the Congress then. Even assuming that was true, people rejected the BJP that time.
Yeah.
So that puts the matter ends there. Now you go and ask any builder. They say that every builder in Karnataka is being harassed. And 75 rupees to 80 rupees is the going rate today in Bangalore for a plan sanction. And this again is a model that is in existence in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. So this is the DMK model that Karnataka has gotten inspired from. Congress has brought it to Karnataka. And what is DMK doing in Tamil Nadu? Look at the kind of drug mafia that they are facilitating, that they are supporting. I mean, look at the kind of state patronage that drug syndicates are getting in Tamil Nadu. It is eating into the very vitals of the youth of the state. And the rabid anti-Hindu, majoritarian, statements and that kind of a political culture, that is something that is also coming to the Congress in Karnataka. We had not seen ever before Pakistan Zindabad slogans heard in Vidhan Sauda. After the election of a Congress MP, the slogans that go out are Pakistan Zindabad slogans. This was something new to Karnataka. And you have not one, not two, but 5 cabinet ministers come out and defend this, try to mislead it and apologize. I mean, be apologists for these people.
They said it's Nasir Saab Zindabad and not Pakistan.
And then once the FLCL reports came, they had egg on their faces. So all of these things, you look at the headlines that Karnataka is making over the last few months. DK Shivkumar says that we don't have money for development. An honest admission. Because all the monies are now being diverted to fulfill the Congress guarantees, the freebies. The state is being pushed towards bankruptcy. Let me just, because the Congress has also released its manifesto and is
5 guarantees.
The 5 guarantees is now a national project. We have seen in Karnataka over the last 7-8 months the debilitating, the disastrous effect of this kind of a economic policy. Capital expenditure is greatly reduced in Karnataka over the last 8 months. Take education for instance. I have a few numbers. Let me just take these numbers so that the audience knows the kind of price Karnataka is paying for mindless freebie politics that the Congress has introduced in Karnataka. In the budget this year, Karnataka has allocated 6.7% of its total expenditure towards energy, which is higher than the average allocation by all states, which is around 4.7%. Now the 6.7%, that is about 2% increase, is because of the 200 unit free electricity that they are providing under this Grah Jyoti scheme. Now because they have provided the 2% extra here, they have to make up for it somewhere else. And where are they doing it? Karnataka has allocated 0.6% of its total expenditure towards urban development, while other states are providing 3.5%. So you take away money from Bengaluru and use it on your freebies. Now, Bengaluru is the one city that is giving 60% of the GDP of the state. Now you deduct the money from Bengaluru, from the capital expenditure required to augment and give fillip to Bengaluru's infrastructure, take it to the next level. The city suffers from traffic jams. The city suffers from water crisis. The city's lakes are being encroached. The city's roads are ridden with potholes. Not a single MLA in Karnataka, in Bangalore, in the last 8-10 months has been given even a single rupee for any infrastructure development work in the constituency, because all your money is going for freebies. Take education. Karnataka has given 11% allocation for education the 24-25, while other states the average is 14.7%. So you are taking away money that would otherwise have been allocated to education just to fund your freebies. Now what is the casualty? Not just development of today, but the casualty is also the quality of education of young people of Karnataka, the children of Karnataka for tomorrow.
On the roads and traffic, in 2022, PM Modi had set a 40-month deadline to ease Bengaluru traffic. Now, what is the progress on that? So there are, BJP has 25 right now currently of the 28 parliamentary seats. So what are the initiatives that you've taken? You are saying that the MLAs don't have any money. What about you guys? What have you done as MP?
Well, in the last 5 years, just for Bangalore, Modi government has sanctioned 1,30,000 crore rupees worth infrastructure projects just for Bengaluru's infrastructure. From 40 years, Bengaluru's suburban rail plan was pending approval from the union government.
40 years.
40 years. So now what has happened is, all those areas which were suburbs of Bengaluru
are now the city.
Now inside the city. Because we have delayed the suburban rail by 40 years. But better late than never.
So it's metro then?
No. The suburban rail is now gotten, approved. In 2021, the Prime Minister, came here, laid the foundation stone, and the work has started. In 2 corridors, the work has started. This is one project. 15,000 crores worth project. Bengaluru had 7 kilometers of metro connectivity in 2014. Today, Bengaluru has an operational metro connectivity of 78 kilometers.
That's really not much.
Not much, but we have gotten approvals for the next 75 kilometers. And this happened in the last 5 years. And in the last 5 years, we have also expedited work on the yellow line, which is again going to augment another 4 to 5 lakh ridership once it's going to be operational this year.
That's so 4 to 5 lakhs for Bangalore is what?
No, we already have 7 to 8 lakh ridership per day. With yellow line coming this year, another 4 to 5 lakh will get added. With the suburban rail getting complete, 10 to 12 lakh people will be able to travel in the suburban rail. The comprehensive mobility plan envisages a 317-kilometer metro for Bengaluru.
For how many years now? That will take 10 years?
Up to 2035 is what the plan is.
Okay.
So by that time, 317 kilometers is what is the plan. And work is now being, undertaken to push for approvals for the whole, the CMP to get done. The Metro Phase 3, which again, primarily connects most of my constituency, Bangalore South, from, the whole of the outer ring road, the Vega City Mall to Nayanhalli, that 24-kilometer stretch, that is in the final stage of approval.
When people come to your city...
no, 1 second, let me just
okay,
complete,
sure.
okay? So, the metro work has really gotten a fillip over the last 5 years. Then, one of the biggest challenges in the core of the city is that there's heavy vehicular traffic that is transiting the city because we don't have a bypass that, links all the highways outside of the city. So in 2019, we mooted a project called the Satellite Town Ring Road. It's a 268-kilometer, 6-lane highway that connects and bypasses all the national highways outside of Bangalore. So out of the 268 kilometers, 80 kilometers, Prime Minister threw open for public use just 3 weeks ago. So when this is also going to be complete, it is also going to greatly ease traffic inside of Bengaluru. Then, just in the last 5 years, Bengaluru also got an international airport, Terminal 2.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah. So, in just the last 5 years, we got a new airport, Terminal 2. We got approval for a project that was pending from 40 years. We have expanded our metro operational by 78 kilometers. We have got additional approval for another 75. Work is expedited on another 25 kilometer, 18 kilometer yellow line stretch. We have added a STRR, that is a 268 kilometer ring road. We have also now proposed from the Indian Railways a circular ring railway that is going to connect all the suburbs and the nearby towns of Bengaluru like Hoskote, Chikballapura, all of these places, which is again going to bring a lot of economic activity to all of these regions. So when all of these are going to be complete, Bengaluru's infrastructure is truly going to be world class.
Livable city
it's
again.
It's going to become world class. This is what we have done in the last 5 years.
Expat Indians who think of, finally coming back to India after retirement, or else, it used to be known as the retirement, a pensioner's paradise was what this was known as, this city. It was known as the garden city of the country, the Silicon Valley. There was so many epithets to when you think of Bengaluru. But then lately, all that you're reading in the newspapers is don't invest here. Don't invest. There's no water. There's no infrastructure. So are you promising people that this is a place that they should come and live here? In a few years' time, it's going to be the livable city that it used to be?
No doubt about that. Even today, Bengaluru is the best city for investments, most dynamic economy, and the kind of talent pool that you get in Bengaluru is world class. There was a recent study, I think, by Goldman Sachs, which said that the engineering talent, the tech talent that you find in Bengaluru is one of the best in the world. Bengaluru is an organically growing city. And naturally, for a city that is expanding and growing organically, there are challenges in the phase of its growth.
I have to interrupt you. When you're talking about being an international city and all those things, what you saw for decades, the parochialism of Chennai, the language issue, calling North Indians Pani Puri walas, those kind of things. Unfortunately, it's happening in Bengaluru. You're seeing that, billboards, we are going to burn it down. It's going to be Kannada. I know in the hate comments, a whole bunch of, you're a Kannadiga and you're saying this. It's going to come to me, I know it. But I'm still saying this to you, even at the risk of that if you are a cosmopolitan city, then why the hate towards Hindi? Why the hate towards English? Why can't you just let people choose what they want to put their billboards in? What language you want to speak in? Why does an auto fellow say that an auto driver say that I will not take you if you cannot speak in Kannada? Speak to me in Kannada. Now, these are people who come from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. They will learn
Madam,
your language.
there are two perspectives
What is
to
it?
this. There are two perspectives to this. One perspective is that, in my experience, I have traveled the country very extensively, especially the last 3-4 years. I still will bet my money and say that the most cosmopolitan, most inclusive, most progressive, all embracing city in India is Bengaluru. Is why? The most number of migrants from all over the country, the first choice is still Bengaluru, because this is the DNA of the city. But cosmopolitanism doesn't mean that the city's traditional roots, the city's nativity, the city's indigenous identity completely gets diluted and we become rootless. The 60% billboard rule is a rule made by the corporation. While I condemn and I do not for a second condone the violence that certain organizations, certain people did by taking the law into their own hands, by breaking these billboards, trying to hooliganize and terrorize the people who speak other languages and who put these billboards. I would also insist that without such rules which would say that at least 50% of the billboards should have the local language, then it is very natural for the local population to feel absolutely left out, to absolutely feel that they have become strangers in their own land. So cosmopolitanism should not cross over to absolutely dilute and take away the very essence, the very nativity, the very tradition of the land that's been there from a few millennia. If you look at the history of the city, cosmopolitanism is in the very DNA of Bangalore. When Kempe Gowda founded the city, if you still go to the old parts of the city, Chickpet, Nagaratpet, Kumbarpet, all of the Akkipet, all of these places, each of this part of the city was for a particular community which offered a particular type of value. So there were Tamil people, there were people from the Marathi speaking community, there were Telugu people, there were Chettiyars, there were Vaishyas. Every single community and different languages were all spoken. Even today, Chickpet in my assembly, in our parliamentary constituency is like a mini India. You have Assamese, you have Bengalis, you have Tamilians, you have all type of people there, and all of them are settlers from 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. So cosmopolitanism is very inherent in the DNA of Bangalore. It will not go away anywhere.
Isn't Tipu Sultan also part of it? I don't believe I'm asking you this frankly, because I asked you this in 2019 also when you were standing for election. And I just want to see whether you remember what you said and whether you say the same answer. Isn't Tipu Sultan also part of this city's culture?
Tipu's palace is also in Chickpet.
Yes.
Of course Tipu Sultan is a part of the city's culture. There is no way, one can whitewash the fact that he was a king here. He did rule parts of, old Mysore region. But that doesn't take away the fact that he took certain measures, such as imposing the Farsi language and removing Kannada as the official language. That is also part of historical record. So, the fact that there is a Tipu palace in Chickpet is as true as Tipu Sultan trying to take away the native language and imposing a foreign one. So coming back to where we were, the DNA of Bengaluru is one that is inclusive, one that is cosmopolitan, not from today, but from the time of Kempe Gowda, who founded the city. So Bengaluru will always continue to be cosmopolitan, but how do we manage a global city with its global ambitions and also keep its nativity and traditions and its native language intact is a cause of friction here and there. But it is important again for political maturity, political leadership to guide the people of the state in such a manner, people of the city in such a manner that it is harmonious and not acrimonious.
You talk about the culture of a place, the culture of the city, the culture of the state also. What the Congress says is that the BJP tries to impose one kind of culture, one kind of language. The Prime Minister today spoke about that. He said, I'm asking everybody to speak in their native language and all that. But what the Congress blames your party is, for example, just a simple thing is about vegetarianism. Insisting on that, making fun or ridiculing people who eat beef, ridiculing people who eat meat. Now you're seeing everybody from the BJP turning around and talking about, during the Navaratris, why are leaders...
Madam, first I want to address the issue of this language thing. Okay, because this whole bogey of
Hindi
imposition on BJP is done ad nauseum. Now in 2019, after I got elected, one of the very first interventions that I made was to request introducing regional language in central government examinations. Now for almost 60 years, central government examinations were being held in only Hindi and English, which put all the regional language states, non-Hindi speaking regional language states, in a great disadvantage. Now upon our intervention, just 2 years ago, all central government examinations, including CAPF, CRPF, all of these examinations are now permitted to be made in all regional languages in the country. Now, it just shows that the Modi government, the BJP government, is sensitive to the needs of and demands of a non-Hindi speaking state. The question is, for 60-65 long years when Congress ruled, why is it that they did not permit central government examinations to be done in regional language? Why did this thought not even occur to them? Now come to the question of the education policy. From the very first education policy up to the new one that we just introduced, Congress always came up with a 3-language formula. And in the 3-language formula, Hindi was a mandatory language to be learnt by all states, including the non-Hindi speaking regional language states. So for 60 long years, 65 years, until Modi came and reviewed the NEP, who imposed Hindi in the state, in the country? It was the Congress. Today we review the NEP and then we make mother tongue learning mandatory for primary education. And insofar as the 3-language policy is concerned, instead of making Hindi mandatory, we allow for any Indian language to be learnt.
Yeah.
Now, why couldn't the Congress make this earlier? And in the assembly, in the parliament, during the Constituent Assembly debate, who opposed Hindi imposition? It was Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. He says, I am a Bengali speaker. We do not want Hindi to be imposed on anybody. We would want it to be encouraged. We would want people to learn Hindi by their choice. Let there be encouragement. But we are against all kinds of imposition. Who made this speech? It was Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. And even Baba Saheb Ambedkar was also on the same lines as far as imposing a particular language was concerned. So from Shyama Prasad Mukherjee to Narendra Modi, if there is one party that has stood against the imposition of Hindi, has given value, respect, primacy for all Indian languages, all regional languages, and not just kept it as a tokenism, but also brought policy changes, allowed people to write examinations, allowed for changes to be made in the education policy, It's the BJP. While for 65 long years, the Congress imposed Hindi through a compulsory 3-language policy, but have gone around the town painting BJP as an regional language and a Hindi imposing party.
Let me get to your, now that we've done 1 hour and before my producer tells me, ki wrap up, I'm going to come up to your personal life. Recently I just asked Annamalai whether you've got a ticket or not. And I just meant it because, you were doing so many of these fireside chats, going in the garden with Jai Shankar and, doing these interviews with him. And I was like convinced at that time that, okay, maybe you are giving your seat to Jai Shankar. He's going to be fighting out here because he was doing so much of meeting, pumping hands with all those retirees and all. And I said, maybe Tejasvi is going to go to the Rajya Sabha route. He's done with this. And that's what I meant. But Annamalai is such a friend of yours. He did like, no, he's already been getting a ticket. Did you have any doubt? She was like, I said, no, I didn't have any doubt. I just wanted to know whether Jay is fighting from Bengaluru. Well, that didn't happen, which is typical of your party. Nobody knows who's going to get ticket, who's not going to get ticket till the last moment. So he hasn't yet got a ticket, but I don't know. For you, when your name came up, were you like expecting it? Did it come as a surprise, or did you feel good about it that you've done good job for 5 years, so it's been rewarded? How did you see it?
Madam, actually, very frankly, I approach politics and my work here with a very impersonal attitude. My ambitions here are very impersonal. So that kind of insulates me to a great extent, insulates me from personal, joys and lows. I try to be, philosophical in that sense. Because
you're too young to be like that.
No, but I think it's very important to be like that, or at least try very consciously, deliberately to keep that kind of a mindset, because there are more variables in politics than constants and controllables. So I have always tried to do this. So I think I deliberately try to maintain a sense of equanimity. So, I take one day at a time. So party, gave me a ticket in 2019. That was a euphoric moment. I was, tweeting OMG because I never expected that, I would get an opportunity to contest. But ever since then, I think I've also grown to understand the nature of life, the nature of politics, how to go about it. So I was, confident that party would ask me to contest here, but I was also okay if party would give me any other, responsibility, because at the end of the day, I have come here with an impersonal goal to contribute something significant using the Bharatiya Janata Party as a platform, because I have always felt that the worldview that I shared, which was inspired by my readings of Vivekananda, of Savarkar, of Ambedkar, one political party that resonated with me and has always resonated with me, its culture, its ideology, its ideas, the party leadership, it's always been the BJP. So I was okay. I mean, I was really grateful that Prime Minister and the party leadership gave me one other chance to represent Bengaluru, the city that I love so much, the city that I have grown up in, born here, went to school here, that I love so much, and for which very, very sincerely have tried to work the last 5 years.
What is different this time? Last time you had a strong opponent. At that time I had interviewed him, and he was that old school Congress politician, whereas this time you have a comparatively young leader, and her father has, I believe that's what people say, has made it his ambition to make sure that she wins. Now what happens now? And I believe there, that he's getting a number of Andhra speaking people from other states to come and help in that. So is it going to be a tough battle for you?
Madam, the objective of this election is to elect the country's Prime Minister. People of Bengaluru know that each vote they give here is finally going to end up deciding who the country's leader will be for the next 5 years. So they know that a vote on Lotus is going to make Modi ji the Prime Minister. A vote for Congress, they don't know what is going to happen. So honestly, it doesn't matter who the opponent is in this election, because this election is about who the country's Prime Minister will be for the next 5 years.
Why they don't know who it will be? It will be India Alliance, no?
Who is it? I mean, India Alliance is not a person.
Congress will be then Rahul Gandhi, no?
I mean, if that is the case, then people should go and Congress should go and tell people in Bangalore that your vote to Congress will make Rahul Gandhi Prime Minister.
They're not saying that?
Of course they're not. I want them to say that.
Why?
I mean, well, people will then have a clear contrast.
This is exactly what I think, that all of you BJP people want that to happen, because if it's Rahul versus Mr. Modi, it works in your advantage.
It's not like that. We are very clear with who our leader is. We are telling the people that if you vote for BJP, Modi ji will become Prime Minister. People have seen the Prime Minister's delivery, they have seen his governance, they have seen his leadership the last 10 years.
Why is Rahul Gandhi not campaigned all that much this time in Karnataka?
Should ask the Congress.
What is your take on it? Why do you think that that has happened? He spent so much time during his yatra here. He spent 15 days or 17 days or something like that in Karnataka. And there were these shots of him holding DK Shiv Kumar's hand and Siddaramaia's jogging away. That seems to have worked to some extent for them.
I don't know, even in the Congress pamphlets, I see Rahul Gandhi's photo in a very small size. And I see the local leaders, their faces in a very big, size. So I don't know. I mean, this is a question that you must definitely ask Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv Kumar as to why there is absolutely Rahul Gandhi or the Gandhi family missing in action in Karnataka's election ground. But the question again is, who is going to be the country's Prime Minister? If BJP comes to power, if NDA comes to power, it is going to be Narendra Modi. We have presented a very clear option before the people, a clear choice before the people. So it doesn't matter who honestly is going to be the opponent in this election.
What was your first term like for your first 5 years, and now that you're going to, you're aspiring to become a second term parliamentarian, what would you want to do in a second term? What did you do in your first term which makes you feel that it was a good 5 years that you spent in parliament?
Madam, personally speaking, this has been a very big learning experience for me the last 5 years. Inside of parliament, outside of parliament, I think the interaction with our people, understanding how the system works, being on the ground, as Yuva Morcha president, traveling all over the country, understanding the diversity of this country, understanding how our organization functions, all of these things has been a very, very steep learning experience for me.
It wasn't overwhelming when you were in parliament?
I mean, every time I enter parliament, it's an overwhelming experience. It's a great responsibility.
You were one of the youngest in parliament?
I'm the youngest BJP MP from, in the 17th Lok Sabha. It is definitely a big honor, big responsibility. The kind of faith, trust the party has put in you. People, 24 lakh voters in the constituency, they have reposed in you. Sometimes, I have woken up in the night, unable to, process the kind of trust, the faith, the burden that sometimes I feel I'm carrying, the accountability that I hold to the people that have elected me. There have been so many nights like that. I've just woken up from the night, in the middle of the sleep, and then just tried to come to terms with, okay, this is what I should do. I'll be doing it. Okay, tomorrow.
Who were the people who were guiding you in the party in parliament?
The very first speech I made in parliament was received very well by a lot of people, but that the very next day evening, I was walking in the corridor of Parliament, and Dharmendra Pradhan ji, calls me and says, "Hey Tejasvi, come here. Arun ji is trying to reach you, and you're not answering your phone." I said, "Dharmendra ji, who Arun ji?" And then he said, "Bhai, Jetli Saab." So then I was like, oh God, he's trying to, talk to me. And I was like, sir, please give me his contact number. I'm going to call him immediately. It's been my life dream to talk to him. So I collect his number and I call Arun Jaitley. And Jaitley ji, ever since I got mobile connectivity at home and on my phone, internet connectivity at home and on my mobile phone, I have watched hundreds of hours of his speeches. Literally worshipped him. It was a big moment for me when I was going to be talking to the Arun Jaitley on the phone. I never thought I would one day be speaking to him on the phone. So it was that time when he was not doing very well health wise, and so he calls me. I call him and then he calls me back, and then he tells me that he was very impressed with my parliament speech, and that he has I have his full blessings. And then he tells me read more, practice more, have a lot of patience. He gives me all of these advice on the phone for 4-5 minutes, and then I ask him, sir, can I meet you once? And he was really not keeping well, so he says, I will keep you posted. Every day of the parliament session, I would call up his office and ask him, sir, can I get 5 minutes with sir? So on the last day of the parliament session, when I was on the way to airport to come to Bangalore, his secretary calls me and says, sir, can meet you this evening. And then I cancel my flight, turn back and go and meet sir. And in his house, there was books on sports, there was books on music, there were old Hindi movie songs, there were cricket bats. There were science books, there were books on law, on history, on Sanskrit, on yoga. It just showed what a multi-dimensional person Arun Jaitley ji was. There were some old, Bollywood songs that he was listening to, and there was cricket playing on the, TV, and then he was reading some 3-4 different books on the table, some old English novel, and then some books, I think some work he was, some government related stuff, all of this. And then it was supposed to be a 5-minute meeting, but I ended up speaking to him for more than 1 hour 20 minutes, and I still cherish and value each minute of that 1 hour 20 minutes that I spoke to him. And I still remember, just before I left, I touched his feet, took his blessings, and I was about to leave. And then he said, call me if you need anything better. These were his last words, because just a week thereafter he passed away. But what was amazing about this encounter was this man is at his, his not doing, okay health-wise, so frail, so weak, but sits with a young guy, mentors him for 1 hour, shares with me his incredible parliamentary experience, suggests me what to read, what to do, what not to do, parliamentary speeches, do's and don'ts, indulges in a friendly banter as an equal for 1 hour. And weak that he is at that point in time physically, while I'm leaving, he says, call me if you need anything better.
Yeah.
I mean,
he knew his time was limited, but seems like all his last interactions with people were quite filled with life, and he was ready to battle on, it seems. Yeah.
I mean, my respect for him was always, it was always very, very personal. I have always personally respected him a lot. But after this interaction, it was something else. I mean, watching a young guy on Parliament TV, on Sunset TV, then trying to call this guy, for 2 days trying to reach him because he was not able to reach, then call a parliamentary colleague of his and tell, I'm trying to reach this guy, I'm not able to reach out, tell him. Then Dharmendra ji tells me.
Yeah.
And then I call him back. Then, despite his failing health, makes time to meet me, spends an hour, and tells me what to do. This is why the BJP is what it is today. Because of people like him.
Mentoring.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other person who has actually, given me this kind of encouragement is Deve Gowda. At least 3 to 4 times after my parliamentary interventions, Deve Gowda ji has called me. And each phone call has been more than 15 to 20 minutes long. Sharing his experiences from his time as a young parliamentarian, his time as Prime Minister. Long conversations. And each time he, his ending the phone call, he says, I am very proud of you. Keep doing good work. Just those, 4 words of encouragement from such seniors, they give you so much energy. So much energy. Now we are in an alliance. But last 4 years he was not even in the, we were not even in the same alliance. But just the fact of seeing some good, some potential in a young guy, making the effort to call that young guy, telling a few good things, encouraging things about them, spending that 15-20 minutes at his age, 90, 91, not needed. But why do they do it?
I'm amazed that you appreciate that, because what tends to happen is that young politicians don't have patience for the older generation. I'm glad that you're disproving a notion that I had, that people don't have, at least I didn't have patience for Deve Gowda ji. Let me tell you honestly, when I was your age, I didn't have the patience. When I interviewed him, when I met with him, I was like, why doesn't he speak faster? Typical journalist, why does he meander here and there? I want my soundbite faster. At your age, I didn't have the respect, but I'm so glad that you do respect, the wealth of information, knowledge, experience that he has. Tell me about the various committees that you were exposed to, you became a part of, and how you felt that you were being part of nation building.
I'll take a little, time to give you, this answer, because I was telling you how big a learning experience this has been the last 5 years. There are some experiences inside the parliament, and there are some work that we have done outside of the parliament as an MP of the constituency. Both has been an incredible learning experience. Now, I gave you the list of the projects that we got approved. The suburban rail, the metro expansion, all of these things. At various points, at multiple levels, these projects were stuck for various reasons. Lack of coordination, not giving the right perspective and argument. For example, the suburban rail and the metro, both alignments were running parallel to each other. So, Niti Aayog had a query as to how both will be financially viable if both of them are the alignments are running parallel to each other. So meeting them, convincing them that this will work in the long term, getting these approvals, interacting with secretaries in Government of India level, joint secretaries in Government of India level, officers who are at least 3 times, 4 times my age, trying to interact with them, trying to convince them that this is a project that Bengaluru so badly needs. I still remember my very first interaction with Hardeep Singh Puri ji. I still have that picture. There was a young intern in our office, and then there was my very first few months in Delhi. I go to him for the approval of the airport line metro, and then this young intern also comes with me. I think he was in 12th or something. And then we both go, we both sit, and then Hardeep ji comes, and then this is the first time Hardeep ji is seeing me also. And then he's like, Asha, so you are the MP, right? And then I was like, ha sir, namaste. And then who is this young fellow you have got with you? And then, we both sit, and then we talk, and then we make the whole presentation. I take I had my iPad with me. I show him that, sir, this is the alignment, this, that. And then this intern, butts in enthusiastically in the middle. And then through the whole thing, Hardeep ji never, asked me to stop, getting this guy, or asked me this young intern to go out. That was such a life transforming experience for our intern. So, for young people, these, small opportunities of encouragement, exposure, they mean a lot. It was that very meeting that impressed Hardeep Singh Puri ji so much that he later called up Durga Shankar Mishra, who was then the secretary Mahua, and then said, now, there are some novel points that our MP from Bangalore is making. Please meet him, hear him out, and see how we can push this. So, whether it was these infrastructure projects, getting these approvals done, this was a very, very big learning experience. Then there was these DJ Halli, KJ Halli riots that happened in Bangalore. A police station was burnt, and a Congress Dalit MLA's house was burnt to ashes. It was actual terrorism, because that was the intent of the perpetrators, to actually create terror and havoc and in the society. 2-3 days after that, I meet Amit Shah ji, and I ask him to set up a NIA office branch in Bangalore. And then he goes through our representation. Then he says, okay, let's go, dekhenge and everything. And then I tell him, sir, this is very important. And then, trying to make that argument in front of Amit Shah ji. These are learning experiences. Within 2-3 months, he got an NIA office approved for Bangalore. And now the last 2 days you have been following the news. After the Rameshwaram cafe blast incident, the investigation, the arrests have been made by NIA.
Where in West Bengal?
West Bengal.
Yeah.
So now when I am going in Bangalore meeting people are now coming and telling me, thank you for getting the NIA office for Bangalore.
That module was busted because of
the NIA office in Bangalore. So this was one such instance where, when we got this approved, we never thought that there is going to be a bomb blast in Bangalore and that NIA is going to bust these and make these arrests.
And you're making a difference in people's lives.
Yes. So these are certain, moments where you find satisfaction. That, okay, we actually made some difference.
There's also that builder thing that you did.
Yeah. No, I'll come back, okay. Now then, from S.M. Krishna's time, when he was the chief minister, we had a demand as a city that we should have a US consulate in Bangalore.
Oh my goodness, you're talking now 20 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
More
than that. More than 25 years now, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So each time somebody needs to get a visa stamping done or a visa interview done, Bangaloreans have to go to Chennai or Hyderabad or Delhi. So this is a very big pain point here. And it's a open and shut case that a city like Bangalore needs a US consulate because we have such a large, diaspora, from the city. There is such tech talent that, goes outside of the city. So for almost 3 full years, I was continuously pursuing Jaishankar ji on this. So much so that at one point in time, he deflected me and asked me to go and meet with the US ambassador. So I met with the US ambassador. And then I again was following it up. Then when Jaishankar ji came to Bangalore, because I was, organizing some talks of his in Bangalore continuously. So in one of that, in a public forum, I requested. Fait
accompli, I saw that.
Yeah.
He had to admit it on stage.
Yes. So he said, I'm going to get this done. And then kind of him that after this was done and he came back to Bangalore, again, big people, seniors, how they mentor and give space and encouragement to young people. In one of our very, very important programs in Bangalore, the last time he came, he actually told these very words that your young MP has single-mindedly pursued the cause of US consulate in Bengaluru and at multiple times made a very passionate case for me, before me. And then I told that I'm going to get this done. And when PM Modi went to US the last time, we got approval for a US consulate. So now the US consulate, once the state government provides land and makes the arrangements, that's going to become a reality. So whether it's the metro, whether it's, the NIE office, whether it's US consulate, whether our work during COVID, which literally saved lives of people by making changes in the public administration system, bringing in more transparency, more accountability. These have given me immense joy. And, the builder thing that you asked, this is again an example of how sensitive the Modi government is to the demands of the middle class. Today also, if you open the manifesto, the Modi ki guarantee, the very first page starts with what we are going to be doing for the middle class. It says about how we are going to strengthen the RERA and make it even more stronger, give it even more teeth. So what happened was here in Bengaluru, around 2012 or 2013, a prominent builder took advances from about 1,800 or 2,000 home buyers, promising that he would construct, flats and deliver it by 2014 and 15. But even till 2019 and 2020, he had not even started the construction. Home buyers were apprehensive that he may flee the nation, he may go out of the country. So the moment we brought this to the notice of, the government, action was taken. And most importantly, there was a scheme called the Swami Fund. And under this scheme, fund is provided for stalled real estate projects for affordable housing schemes. So we got around 1,500 crores approved within a matter of about 15 days. Talking to finance minister, then the SBI had to get this approved. Then the other part also had to be from Ajay Piramal. Okay, I had never spoken to him ever.
The industrialist.
Yeah, because Piramal was supposed to do a particular part of the financing. I get his WhatsApp number from somebody and then randomly cold call him and say, sir, this is, so and so. I want to help my constituents. You are supposed to, make another funding round. So please help. So I thought that, I would need an introduction, etc. He said, no, I was watching your debate on Times Now. I'm very happy. You tell me how I can help you. And like how all of things came together, in about 10-15 days time, we got around 1,500 crores approved. And in 2022, we started the construction of these flats. 2021 end, we started the construction of these flats. 2023 end, that is last year December, we completed 2,000 flats constructed, handed over all of them with the occupation certificates to the home buyers. And when all of these home buyers did the Gruha Praveshams together, that was one of the most fulfilling days for me. And Prime Minister tweeted and congratulated all the home buyers. And there were literally tears in the eyes of these people because their entire lifetime savings were at stake. For almost 8-10 years, they were living in rented houses, paying rent, and they were also furnishing EMIs on the loans that they had taken. And they had absolutely no clue what would happen to their life savings.
Yeah.
So we got these houses built. And one day when I was on the street, in one of the restaurants here, one of these home buyers walks up to me and says, we generally thought, politicians are always in hand in gloves with builders and these real estate people. So when we actually approached you, we didn't think that there is going to be any difference. We didn't think it's going to get resolved. But, today when I go to that apartment, the kind of love and affection that people show, so many of them have pictures of me and Prime Minister Modi in their homes. It's actually very, very fulfilling. So these are the moments that actually give you so much of, courage and gives you the energy to go on and do so much
there's
work.
so many people who are apprehensive, young people who are apprehensive of joining politics because it is seen as something which people do for greed, for self-aggrandizement, not for as a service. But of late, I'm noticing more and more people who really want to make a change in people's lives, who want to get into politics because of reasons which are not what used to be. In your party, there's this constant, young people who are brought in from different parts of society who are asked to come and join in. One is like you, as you have come. There's Madhvi Lata in Hyderabad who's taking on Owaisi. She's also somebody who's not a politician, got a ticket when she wasn't even part of the BJP. Then there is Annamalai who's come in from the police service, right? What is it about your party that attracts young people like you? And are you have you formed a support group for each other where you all help each other, you all support each other, and it's not just ideology but a desire to do something different? Is it that?
I think the culture of the party is such that it allows and encourages young talent, fresh talent to come from all walks of life and contribute using the party as a platform if you subscribe to the worldview of the party. I don't think there is any other political party in the country today which actively encourages young people, young talent, fresh blood to come to the party and give them opportunities and platforms. The reason for that is this is a cadre-based party. This is not a family-based dynasty party. Because here nobody is a threat to anybody else. So there is no glass ceiling that, somebody is afraid that somebody will come and break. So, I mean, the reason why you cannot have this kind of a culture in the Congress is as simple as that. That tomorrow somebody can become a threat to Rahul Gandhi. Tomorrow somebody can become a threat to Akhilesh Yadav. So the beauty of the BJP, the reason why the BJP is such a powerful force today, why it is such a, is a party that is attracting so many young people today, is because it offers you a flat, structure where you can go, make your mark, work sincerely, and you can go up. And you were asking about, making a group and support system, etc. I think the party's culture also allows for, contemporaries working together to form certain bonds. And especially, personally speaking, with Annamalai, that has been a bond that we have been able to share. Because in 2019, when I faced the first elections in Bengaluru South, Annamalai was the DCP of Bengaluru South.
Oh.
And Annamalai before that was a SP of Chikmagalur, which is my native place. Okay. So our, friendship, our acquaintance, our relationship goes back from that time.
Shall I ask you about that one incident? You can answer or you can not answer. Well, what happened in that aircraft when you when you were with him? Yeah. Who did you try to open it? Did he try to open it, or did he try to stop you? What happened?
In fact, it's one of the most hilarious, incidences, and it's been, it's become a troll material for the Congress from that time. It so happened that Annamalai and I were on a flight to Trichy from Chennai. And it is this small, these ATR flights.
Horrible, I hate them.
Yeah, those small ATR flights. And it was a very, very old aircraft. And so we were all, sitting, and I was sitting on the right-hand side, and Annamalai was on my left-hand side. And, the emergency exit was on my right-hand side. So the beading that was, the emergency exit holds on to a, beading that is there. Yeah. That when I saw was out of place.
Oh.
Okay. So it was not that, the whole narrative is that, we tried to, open it midair, or, it was taxiing, and for some mischievous fun, I tried to, open the emergency exit, or some random, narrative that has gone around. So so when we sat, we could make out that something was not okay with this
Emergency exit.
emergency exit door, because it was not in its place. One could visibly see it. So I called the cabin crew, and we alerted them that this is what has happened. Okay, and we showed them that, see, this is the beading. It's coming out. So when we touched that and showed them that this is the beading, this is see, this is out of place, it further came out of place. Okay, so this was a safety hazard in that plane that day.
Or you were doing all this mid-air?
No. The plane was... How can this
That's
be
what I'm
mid-air?
asking you.
No. This was during boarding.
Boarding. Okay.
This was during boarding. Okay. Now, and then immediately, the cabin crew told the captain, and then the safety procedure had to be done. So they came, they, deboarded everybody. They put the, emergency exit back in its place and did the routine checkup, etc. And we, we left. And then this whole controversy happens a full 40-45 days later, that Tejasvi Surya and, traveling with Annamalai tried to open the emergency exit of an aircraft. Okay, and the impression that then there are cartoons that are made that, mid-air, we are opening the emergency exit. Now this beats common sense at various levels. One, it's not that Annamalai and I are not, public figures who people cannot identify. Now suppose we are in an aircraft, and all of a sudden I go and try to open the emergency aircraft door, and it is not, if you go by the videos that are there, I in fact went on YouTube to see how easy is it to open.
No, it's very difficult.
It's very difficult to open an emergency exit. It needs an incredible amount of pressure. You need to, twist the latches, all of this. Suppose I am doing this for 5 minutes. Do you think not a single passenger would have tried to make a video of it? Not a single passenger would have tweeted about it that day and said this, absolutely mad fellow is trying to open the emergency exit of an aircraft. Nothing happened.
But why didn't you both speak about it? No.
I mean, it was a non-issue. Okay. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. This happened in December.
When it became a big thing, it was like, at that time it was like, file a case, I'll tell you. That's how it was, right? That's what Annamalai said, that, okay, file a case, let's see.
No, correct. So what I did was, see, what happens sometimes, madam, is whether you like it or not, even if, I'm telling this version, this is the truth, okay? Yeah. Even if we are telling this version, there will be people who will be commenting that, we are lying, we are saying this, we are doing that.
True.
Okay? So we
thought, the nature of the social media beast, right?
So I thought, see, this was a non-issue. Okay? And then also, there is something called as an incident report. So right after this episode happened, on the very day, we wrote a letter.
Oh.
Okay, I wrote a letter saying this is what happened. We reported this incident there. And this letter is also with, the airlines. Okay, now this what happened. It was like a series of things that went wrong. Okay, and it was such a PR disaster.
Yeah.
And then...
But you could have curbed it right away. That's what I can't... you're a social media wizard. You know
it. I mean, maybe it's a learning. But what I did that time was, I sent a legal notice to Indigo. Okay, when this whole thing happened, asking them to clarify 3 things. 1, whether I deliberately opened the emergency exit of the aircraft. 2, whether I was found, guilty or wrong or guilty of any wrongdoing. Have I violated any aircraft, rules or regulations? 2, if I was, then has any special treatment been accorded to me on account of the public position that I hold? And I said, I hope no such special treatment is accorded. And I sent them a legal notice and said, if I don't get a clarification on this, I'm going to sue you. Then Indigo gives me a detailed reply and says, none of these things have happened. And this is not this was an accident. Okay, I have the email with me.
Okay.
And then, I thought, I'll give it to the media and everything. By that time, the entire,
It'll come
news
all over
cycle had,
again.
completed. So I thought, people were having fun
Forget it.
making cartoons. I thought, let them enjoy.
Okay.
So this
So-
is, the story.
In conclusion, I have to ask you one question, which I ask everybody about mental health, because people like you are, in a high position or high stress jobs. You're with people all the time. You barely have any private life. How do you keep your mental balance? Do you do yoga? Is it meditation? Or some people say that, we don't have any kind of a schedule. We can't eat at times, we can't drink at times properly, like water is not easily accessible, you don't have private life at all. How do you keep your mental balance?
It's hard. Look at today. I started my day today at 5:30 in the morning. It's 12:35 in the night today, and we are here recording
Right.
this podcast. Lives of political leaders is actually incredibly hard. People who see it from outside just see the glamour, etc., but they don't know the amount of hard work, how much it demands from you. Personally speaking, when you enjoy the work that you do, then the joy of work itself is, the work itself rewards you. The hard work itself is a reward. So I think, that is one thing. Second, at least 3 times in a week, minimum, I try to do some physical exercise, weight training or something. I was not particularly very good at sports or, physical activities when I was in school. So I always had this thing that I want to do something, make a mark in some physical activity. So 2 years ago, I trained and I was the first MP in India to complete a Ironman relay. So
What's that?
So that's it's a triathlon.
Okay.
So it's swimming, cycling, and running. So I teamed up with 2 other people. I cycled 90 kilometers while my friends, a friend swam and the other guy ran. So I did that, and then this year I wanted to actually do a full Ironman, and I wanted to try train for it. Hopefully this year, but last year because of Karnataka elections and all,
You're
I couldn't
not part
train
of
to-
the MP cricket team and things? You don't play
No,
cricket?
I did play once
You did?
with
Okay.
Manish Tiwari ji and others.
Okay.
I've also played some badminton in the Constitution Club. But I try to do some exercise once in 2 to 3 days a week. That gives me really fresh mind, and it really helps me de-stress.
So you still have 2 more weeks?
Yeah, and then of course Insta Reels.
Seriously?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a stress buster for everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you scroll mindlessly?
You
Instagram?
really want me to admit this on air? Yes, I do. And
Just
then
mindlessly scrolling.
mindlessly, just for laughs, frankly.
Yeah.
Because when
Puppy videos.
Yeah.
Or some
yeah,
jokes.
something or the other of that sort. But unfortunately, nowadays it's only election related stuff, even while scrolling, because you have that sudden thing that, oh my God, have I left out any state?
FOMO.
Have I left out, any news item? And then you feel very, odd or awkward going for a debate and not having studied. That is my nervousness. I think all of us who have taken that 10th board, 12th board exam, if you've not prepared for that 1 2-marker question, that nervousness that comes. But anyway, I won't take any more of your time now that you've revealed that it's 12:30 at night. But thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you got out during this heavy campaign schedule, took time out to come to the podcast. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the ANR podcast with Smitha Prakash. Do write in with your suggestions and click on the subscribe button. Namaste, Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.